Welcome back everybody, thank you very much for joining me, legends. Sorry I've not been active this week, I've had a couple of teeth ripped out, but I've got some really exciting news today. A leak has come out this morning, then it's around PvP. Finally we got some information. Fingers crossed this does come to fruition. Of course, everything in this take with a pinch of salt. This is still only speculation, but at least we've got some information. Now firstly I want to bring you some interesting info I found on the Ubisoft forum following a maintenance update this week. In the next few weeks we have Title Update 4 about to drop. Now this was confirmed by Ubisoft's community manager Iker. Here is his post, and Jravens has been digging again, and thank you for the latest data about PvP files in the game. These two coinciding within days could potentially mean that Title Update 4 could be PvP, so it could only be a few weeks away. If it's not PvP or Fallen Ghosts, which is unlikely, as Season Pass holders will get 1 week's early access, then Title Update 4 could just be for Season 2 of the challenges. This would be disappointing, as a vast amount of the community are not happy about the challenges and have not been given enough reason for players to come back to the game. But now, enough about that, let's move right into the juicy details from Jravens about PvP. Remember, this is all speculations, please take it with a pinch of salt, but so far Jravens has proved to be correct on a few of his leaks, and please remember that some things can still change before the final release, but at least we've got some info. Now firstly I want to talk to you about your Ghost. Now it looks like we've got 5 classes to select from. They're Assault, Engineer, Scout, Sniper and Support. This image has been released and it shows your loadouts. Now in your loadouts we can see in the top left hand corner we've got your equipment. To the right you've got your armour. Below you've got your 2 weapons. Now your weapons seem to be split up into 3 sections, which in the left column is your gun, the middle is your scope and the right hand side is your silencer. Below the weapons you have 2 options, you've got a mine and a frag, but here it will also indicate how many of each item that you have. Down in the bottom left you've got your night vision goggles, and also to the right you've got your binoculars. Now that seems to be a pretty standard across the board for everybody to have night vision goggles and binoculars. Again, whether that is a customizable option, if you can change that to thermal vision, that would be pretty cool. In the top left hand corner we've got the equipment section. Now this image shows different types of equipment that may be available. We can see that they have in these images the jammer and the scanner, but there is also other ones such as aim assist, a disruptor, a booster, ammo pack, camera sensor, claymore, place turret, radar jammer and a taser mine. We can see, looking at the armour section, that the support class has got the heaviest armour and has that reduction in speed and stamina. If you then compare that to the assault and the engineer class, they have 2 bars of armour but no reduction in speed or stamina. Then you have the scout class, which has got 1 bar of armour, and finally the sniper class, who has no armour but wears a ghillie suit. Now we have the weapons. There are a vast array of weapons that are currently in the game and which are not. Not only that, there are guns in the vanilla game which are not in PvP, such as the HTI. This is very interesting that we may see new and different weapons in PvP. Time will only tell if this has been done for balancing reasons. There are several types of weapons: handguns, assault rifles, carbines and bullpups, DMRs, sniper rifles, shotguns, LMGs, SAWs, CMGs, SMGs and PDR. That's a hell of a lot of different types of guns, so we can't say that we're not spoiled for choice. But the issue is that Ubisoft may have given themselves a bit of a balancing nightmare if not implemented correctly. Without going into too much, I'm just going to show you all of these images. As you can see, there's a vast array of guns. Not all guns have got skins in either, it's just the outlines. So whether these are still works in progress, whether these are going to come in the future, this just seems to be a list of guns which they have worked on or put thought into. Now moving on to maps, there's been speculation on whether it's going to be the open world or specifically designed maps, and it looks like we've been given that answer. Now this area appears to be 2 bases separated by a river with 2 crossing points. This would be good for many types of game modes, and fingers crossed we'll be getting a few. I'm sure we're going to see the straight up deathmatch game for those Call of Duty gameplay lovers that like to just go out there and kill anything and everything. I'd also expect to see an elimination type of mode, that's always a fan favourite. I'd also hope that there's a King of the Hill style, where we have to protect an area to extract intel or something, hold it for a certain amount of time, and we did see in the post-launch trailer an attack and defend mode with intel being the objective. Fingers crossed the gameplay is engaging and fun, but it's also rewarding to teamwork and coordination, as it should be in a Tom Clancy game. There was also some other graphics which were released. These look to be menu graphics. When all the fun is done though, there's always an outcome, so there's always somebody that's victorious, defeated, but sometimes, very rarely, will you end up with a draw. But again, this depends on what type of game modes they implement. There's another image that has been released. It's not the raw image. The images he's referring to is the group of people, the star and the skull to the top left hand corner of these ghosts' heads. These could be to do with the factions you fight for in PvP, maybe the three groups indicated by the menu graphics, blue, white and yellowish. One interesting thing to look at when we look at the stat screen at the end, of course in the top left hand corner you've got your time played, you've got your kills, so you've got versus players, so that must be human players, versus NPCs and a KD ratio. That's very interesting that we may also see PvE in the PvP element. Below that we have team support. You can see how many players you've marked, how many NPCs you've marked and how many teammates you've revived. And finally there's resources, so military equipment, medication, comm tools, fuel and loot actions. Now whether these resources and looting is part of a specific game mode, how resources will play into PvP is an unknown at the moment, but I'm very intrigued to find out what this is about. So this is all the info about PvP and when we may see it. This is just my opinion and speculation on the latest information and the data given from Jravens, but I hope that this has given you all some insight into when and what we are finally going to get when PvP is released. So that's all for now, but until next time, take care.